A couple of months ago, the IRS commissioner came before the same subcommittee. I highlighted concerns around the mail backlog at the IRS processing centers around the country. At that time, there were close to 3 million pieces of unopened mail. As I understand it, that figure has been reduced now to about 1.3 million pieces, which I applaud the IRS's efforts to address this issue during the pandemic. However, I continue to hear from folks back home who are being directly impacted by the mail backlog. So this remains a matter of deep concern for me, particularly as we go into the 2020 filing season. So over the course of the past year, my caseworkers and I have heard stories from Hoosiers in my district who are facing financial difficulty due to the pandemic, but they've yet to receive the tax refund that they're owed. So these are folks who need their refunds urgently and can't afford delays. They need swift action so they can continue really to put food on the table and provide for their families. The mail backlog has no doubt also caused significant challenges for the organization represented by all of our witnesses as well. I want to just take a second to highlight the VITA program and the tax counseling for the elderly, the TCE program, which over the years have both served as critical tools for many qualifying individuals who are looking for tax filing assistance at no cost to themselves. These vital programs have become all the more critical during the pandemic, so I remain ready to work with all the organizations that we have here today to ensure that American taxpayers can quickly and fairly resolve their issues related to the IRS and the other federal agencies. But I have a question for all of you, if you could just chime in here quickly. So are your volunteers trained to deal with taxpayers who have questions about their 2019 tax return, or have they yet to receive their tax refund? And then can you just explain and touch on some of the challenges you've had in kind of navigating this issue, making sure that everybody's trained for the questions coming in? Ms. Lee Villanueva, can we just start with you and then just kind of go down?
Yes. So our volunteers are trained every year on the tax code for that year's return that they're going to be preparing, and they also pass the IRS certification test at the advanced level. And we do know that there are probably a number of taxpayers who were not able to file their 2019 returns. So we are anticipating that there will be a number of those returns that need to be completed along with the 2020 return. So the way our program works is that if a volunteer was certified in that tax year, so if they have been a volunteer for us for both the 2019 tax return and the 2020, then they can prepare both of those returns. And yes, we are seeing have been hearing also about people who did have to file with paper, that there still is a backlog of some of those being processed.
Can the rest of you weigh in?
Certainly, I'll weigh in. Actually, my own brother never received his 2019 refund, and so I recently just went through this with him and helped him navigate the systems of calling the IRS and scheduling appointment and so on and so forth. And I will say our volunteers are trained. This is the type of information that we regularly share with our network partners so that they can communicate with their volunteers. So they're well versed in helping people navigate the IRS. So there are two very common things that we encourage them to do. One is call the IRS to try to schedule an appointment with the local taxpayer assistance center. And then if all else fails, so we encourage strong partnership with the Taxpayer Advocate Service and local LITCs who can also help and provide those resources as well.
Can I interrupt? Ms. Thompson, can I ask you another question while I have you really quickly? Will Prosperity Now and the other similar VITA sites be able to serve the same number of taxpayers as in prior years, even though there's fewer sites and volunteers?
We are anticipating an increase in demand and a decrease in capacity this year, just because of the nuances of the multiple service delivery options. And so we're hedging our bets, I will say, and not quite sure whether we'll be able to resume operations at the prior year filing season level.
Gotcha. I thank all of you. Out of time. Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.